Okay, how's it going, everybody? This is Nate here, and I don't know what day this is. I want to say it's about 6 weeks, 7 weeks into the tank. You see, I'm starting to get brown algae on the tank because I started to dose. I dosed it a little bit. Get brown algae on the rock, and there's some green. I got a long tentacle anemone here, and I moved around a little bit, and this is definitely the biggest he's been in the tank. And I fed him today, but I also have both the lights on. So I want to see if the lighting affects the size of him. And so what I'll do here is I'll just record a few times, look at the scale, and then measure it again. I mean, I could probably measure it here, but I'm just gonna look at the rock here. But yeah, so far this is the biggest it's been, and when I moved it earlier, it did definitely shrink up on me and kind of jump and go into its little hiding or defensive. But after planting it in the crack in a little ditch between the rock and the sand, and just having the flow here and the jet here, and finding the right area to where this moves around, it's gotten really big. So just noting for my own record that this is a really good setup for the BioCube in terms of the anemone and how it likes to flow right here. I mean, it's monstrous. It's twice the size it was when I first got it, and this is the first time in the few days I've had it that it's been this big and happy. So could have been the feeding, it could be the extra lighting. So what I'll do now is turn off the light and then see if it changes size or gets even bigger. I will note that the parameters in here are pretty, even though there's brown algae, that seemed to start right after I dosed it with some Kent NanoReef calcium and other stuff for the anemone here yesterday. So I don't know if that has something to do with that, or if it's just because I'm running the light and it's just finally growing. But there's no ammonia, there's no nitrites. Very, very low nitrates in here, and the flow is excellent. The fish are happy. They're very active. They actually, when I turn the lights off, they'll actually look like I'll think they're dying, but they're actually just sleeping on their side and resting on the rocks, and they rest in the vent there. But when I have the light on, they're more active, obviously. But I'll show you later when I turn it off, and we'll measure it again. So, yeah, I was really worried about this thing because it just didn't have the size that I saw that it was. But this is definitely bigger than it was in the store. I will note there was also a clownfish with this hosting it. And unfortunately, I think it was a Ocellaris, or it might have been a Clarkie. But there's certain fish, clownfish, that like these and certain fish that don't. Unfortunately, mine, because they're kind of bred in captivity in a tank without anemones, they're probably not quite sure what it is. So I'm hoping that as this thing grows out and gets bigger and they're familiarized and not scared of it, they'll start hanging out in it. But unfortunately, they're not even going near it. They actually stay away from it. And the closest I've seen them get is kind of where that snail or that crab is hanging out right there. That's kind of, they've kind of once or twice they've gone up and kind of inspected it, but then they immediately just back off. So I'm not sure if they're familiar with what it is, but yeah, this is a long tentacle anemone, and I just got the regular white tip one. And let's actually turn the lights off and see what it looks like with just the blue. So there you go. And to show you what it looks like without that. Okay, so that's actually the UV light, and that's just the blue light. So I'm gonna try running this one for a bit, and we'll see if that affects the size of the anemone. But yeah, it's looking really good. So I am gonna hold off on cleaning the glass just for now, just because I want to see how much more brown I get tomorrow, and then I'll just scrub it. So there you have it.